Welcome back to Understanding Human Anatomy. The topic of this video is axial anatomy. The axial anatomy is the anatomy of the central axis of the body. It is often referred to as the trunk or core of the body. So when someone is working on their core, they're working on axial anatomy. Now, as all parts of the body, there's going to be skeletal elements, muscular elements, and nerve and vascular elements, and the nerve and vascular we'll talk about at a different time. The skeletal elements is known as the axial skeleton. And the axial skeleton is composed of a number of bones. One of the structures of axial skeleton is the skull. And the skull is actually composed of 22 separate bones that some are fused, others are joined by various types of joints. Another part of the axial skeleton is the spinal column. And the spinal column is composed of 32 to 34 separate vertebrae. Then in the thoracic region, the region of the chest, we have ribs. The ribs are attached to thoracic vertebra posteriorly, and then anteriorly the ribs, at least most of the ribs, attach to the sternum. So the axial skeleton is composed of skull, spinal column, ribs, and sternum. We will start by looking at the spinal column. The spinal column is composed of 32 to 34 vertebrae. These are the bones of our spinal column. It is what is known colloquially as the backbone. Now, these vertebrae are stacked one on top of another. And this is sort of like a stack of poker chips. So the basic structure of the vertebral column would consist of a number of structures that are stacked on top of one another like so. One on top of the other. Forming a stack or a column. The vertebrae are divided into regions. There are 7 cervical vertebrae, and they are in the region of the neck. There are 12 thoracic vertebrae. These are in the region of the chest. Then 5 lumbar vertebrae. These are in the region of the abdomen. Also, you could call it the lower back. Then there are 5 fused sacral vertebrae. That form the sacrum. And finally, 3 to 5 fused coccygeal vertebra that form the coccyx. And these are remnants of our tail. It's a primitive tail. And as you can see from it being a variable number, is responsible for the variable number of vertebrae as a whole. The muscles of the axial skeleton are referred to as the axial muscles. These muscles all act or move the axial skeleton. And as I said before, these are the muscles of the core. Now, just to give you some general groups of these muscles, we're not going to delve into them individually right now, but these consist of the muscles of the back, abdominal muscles, and in the region of the thorax, these muscles are found in between the ribs. So they are the intercostal muscles. Remember, inter always means between. Costa is the anatomical term for rib. So the name tells you they are between the ribs. Now, in summary, the axial anatomy is the anatomy of the trunk or core of the body. The axial skeleton consists of a skull, vertebra, ribs, and sternum. The vertebrae are divided into regions: 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic vertebrae, 5 lumbar vertebrae, 5 fused sacral vertebrae forming the sacrum, 3 to 5 fused coccygeal vertebrae forming the coccyx. The axial muscles are muscles of the core. They consist of the back muscles, the abdominal muscles, and the intercostal muscles. Thank you for your attention.